Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And in this edition of Where I Went Wrong, I'll be doing Where I Went Wrong UFC 275, Teixeira versus Prochazka. So went 7-4, 7-11, pretty decent, especially given how crazy that card was. So I'm happy because it was like I was winning, losing, winning, losing, winning, losing. I was like, damn, this might be one of those 500 cards or something like that. But to be finished, what, 7-4 plus 3 over, so I'm over 500 plus 3. That's good enough for me with how crazy that card was. And that Prochazka fight, pick Prochazka, I knew it was like gonna be some wild, weird stuff given the age, given how Prochazka just is as a person, like weird stuff. But I still didn't expect that outcome. I expected to be like weird, tight, like grappling situations that just didn't make no sense in a way. And like, I don't know. But I was expecting like a knockout later on and not a submission. And Glover was 30 seconds away from winning. So I got to win, but I can't say like, oh my gosh, I predicted this that so accurately. I predict that Prochazka would survive by the hair on the chinny chin a lot of these grappling situations and make it like a later and stop him. But I ain't expected that late in by submission. So I can say that prediction was all that solid. But hey, good prediction on bad prediction. You right or wrong, whether the judges screw you or the judges favor you, or whether some weird stuff just happened and you get a win or you get a loss. It is what it is. So a win is a win. That's when you got to start to stick with in the game. But yeah, 7-4. Couple bad decisions on there that I feel kind of went my way. Brendan Allen was a bad decision. I feel went my way. So yeah, I had cards where I had good fights that don't go my way as far as predictions. Then I had it was Brendan Allen. Oh, then you could say Valentina versus Tyler Saunders, but I feel like that one's more debatable. Brendan Allen one, I feel like that's less debatable, but that's my opinion. But two decisions that could have easily went the other way, went my way. So I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. And then like the main event was 30 seconds away from not going my way, and then just ended off on a high note. So good thing. But yeah, let me get into the fight site, or at least the I don't know recap kind of where I went wrong, the picks I went wrong on, and matter of fact, I'm just gonna run through the whole card. So first fight, Jocelyn Evers versus Romana Pascual. I thought Evers would throw Pascual around a little bit at times. I want to say she's gonna have the more technical wrestling, but I thought she'd probably be able to might bully her in the clinch a little bit more and then get some tosses. But then again, she come up to 45, so that's probably wasn't the factor. But she did give a little bit scared at the end of the first round. But second, third, I felt like were pretty clean rounds for Edwards, in my opinion. I don't feel like Pascual did anything all that impressive in those rounds. I mean, she landed probably like one or two decent punches in the second round. But other than that, she was letting herself get kicked at, span with kicks the whole fight. And then in the third round, Edwards started letting her hands go too, so it made it an easy round. So crazy thing about that I live odds shipped to like plus 400 Edwards or plus 300 Edwards, and that was just dumb. I don't know what people were thinking, but should have hopped on that because it was pretty clear that Edwards was winning most, like 90% of this fight. Pascual literally had like one moment, and that was at the end of the first round. Outside that, she really didn't do much of anything. Yeah, so I got that pick right. Second pick was, second fight was Silvana Gomez Juarez versus Na Liang or Liang Na. With this one, I was expecting, I can't really say I was super high on Na Liang, or yeah, Na Liang. I wasn't super high on her, but I was just not super high on Silvana Gomez Juarez. I'm still not high on Silvana Gomez Juarez, but I'm also not high on Na Liang. I'm like looking at two women I'm gonna pick against probably in the next fight. Yeah, definitely Na Liang, because if anyone got any bit of decent grappling, I'm picking them against her. Because then I feel like striking wise, she got a lot of holes. Grappling wise, it ain't like her grappling's all that great. So anybody that's decent, I feel should beat her. But maybe somebody's, well, the person he was supposed to be was Silvana Gomez Juarez, who grappling's pretty questionable. Silvana Gomez did get away with a cage grab. She did a clear, evident cage grab. That probably could have changed the course of the fight if she would have got taken down, because she gets tapped out pretty easily once she gets on the ground. So that could have been a fight-changing thing. But at the end of the day, yeah, it is what I feel like. Where I feel like I could have did better with this one is, I don't know. I can't really feel like I could have done anything better with it. I saw a 37-year-old woman who clearly has weakness in the grappling. I see Na Liang, who's not really the most, like, sturdy fighter necessarily. Like, she's not so clean and polished on striking, not so clean and composed as a fighter, not this super fighter that's solid at getting fights to the ground, like not no great wrestling necessarily. I said she had decent enough wrestling to get it to the ground and decent enough jiu-jitsu to beat Juarez, who has clearly shown evidence that she has weaknesses in that area. And that I feel like Na Liang, she's not phenomenal or even I would say good. I feel like she was good enough, but it never really got to get there. And on the feet, her sloppiness on the feet got exposed. I knew Silvana Gomez Juarez was a better striker by far, but I feel like Na Liang would be able to get it to the ground. And I just looked at stats that Silvana Gomez Juarez takedown wasn't all that good, and it really isn't all that good. I just feel like Na Liang was trying to force the takedown too much and shooting from too far out. And I mean, she had one decent takedown, but again, Silvana Gomez Juarez grabbed the cage. Other than that, she was out there like reaching, like extending, looking very sloppy, looking very desperate for takedown, not mixing it up. So her inexperience showed in that one. But again, not high on either woman. And I can't really say, if I saw this, I would have picked her. I can't say that because, again, the grappling, the age, two things lean against. It's not like, oh, she's more around more this, more that. It was just she was able to keep Nalgang from taking her down. And I could see like her takedown defense ratio is like 17%. So it's not like she has some phenomenal takedowns. She did get up like 6 times from or 4 or whatever times from Lupita Godinez, which was a decent sign, but not enough because the stats was still pretty low as far as takedown defense. I mean, she got up, but her take still to 17%, and that was all I need to know to pick against her. But ultimately, it didn't go my way there. But I can say, oh my gosh, I made such a bad pick there, given everything, especially the dog. And looking at dog potential, I feel like Liang had good dog potential, but it didn't pan out. And then the other fight I had right after that, had a similar play out. But I think, let me see, it's not the next fight, but like the next fight I got wrong. Then Kyung Ho Kang versus Bad Gabriel Dana, I picked Kyung Ho Kang. I thought he would mix up with the grappling a lot more, but he went out there and outstruck. But like, why am I talking like this? He went out there and outstruck the striker. And I feel like he beat him every round pretty clear in my opinion. I feel like Bad Gabriel Dana had some good power shots there, but I feel like Kyung Ho Kang's jab was very effective, was really the biggest punch of the fight. And I feel like his boxing looked cleaner, looked sharper. And Bad Gabriel Dana, like I said, was looking for the big punch. I would have hoped that Kyung Ho Kang would have mixed in the grappling a little bit more. I think he went for like 2 attempts, maybe, or one decent one, maybe 2 in total. But hey, I guess he didn't need it. But it would have made it a lot more clear if he was able to get a takedown, or I don't know, maybe get some ground and pound with that, or maybe get a submission with that, or near finish with some submission there, or I don't know. It would have made it easier, but made it a little bit close. It was like it made it a bit close. But yeah, going forward with Kyung Ho Kang, he definitely got to look to mixing that grappling more. I know his striking looking better every single fight. He's getting better as a fighter every single fight. But if it's just his jiu-jitsu or just his striking, he'll never really be able to elevate that far in the division. I'm not going to say even when he does all those things he's going to elevate, but I feel he could definitely sneak pretty high up into the division, or get up pretty decent into the division. I don't see him being a title challenger or nothing, but I can see him, maybe being a guy that somebody beat to get to a title, or maybe put them one more fight to a title. Whereas right now, yeah, I don't see that. But if he does mix everything, I can see him going, getting some pretty good wins, and also probably some more upsets, because even though he's been around this long and people have, anybody that actually watched him fight and didn't know anything, I mean, actually watched him fight and didn't just, look at things on paper, no, this guy is a very underrated fighter. Ever since the Alex Caceres fight, I think that was the first fight I saw him, man, I knew this guy was a killer. And then fights after that further proved that. So I was not impressed with Bad Gabriel Dana at all. Not like he was nothing impressive or special. And now this even shows even more. He got he got outboxed by a guy who's known as a jiu-jitsu guy. But Kyung Ho Kang is the full package. But he got to do a better job of blending those names, because that made the fight closer than it should be. It shouldn't have even been a debate. It should have been a case, I'll box you, I'll take you down, I'll dominate you, probably tap you out, make a statement. But the fact that he didn't make a statement, that also shows a little bit of his limitation. Like, good fight, good performance, showing evolution, but also showing limitations by the fact that I feel like you're outboxing this striker, then put the icing on the cake, take him down, destroy him, tap him out. And now people got your eyes on him. Now people oh, that guy's pretty solid. Solid on the striking and stuff now. Looking so clean, but it didn't really wake nobody's eyes up. Maybe for the people that were big sleeping, but outside that, anybody that knew, that wasn't the biggest surprise. But yeah, good win there, but would like to see him mix it up more. Not because, like I said, this is mixed martial arts, got to mix it up more and have more success. But maybe the fact that he went for a couple takedowns decently, didn't get them, but didn't go for more, that was just enough to give him Bad Gabriel Dana a different look and allow Kyung Kang to box some people more. But yeah, that's a fight. I feel like really his boxing looked the very best in the third round. He looked real clean in the third round. Was catching those good hooks and really looking for those big power shots in the third round. So very impressed with him. But I'm looking too far ahead. Well, I'm looking far ahead, but man, I think his time is now. It's not like he's 24, 25, 26. It's his time now. So he got to go all for it. So you got to look at the present is the future, because it's not like he got the most time left. So man, got to mix it up better. Along with the evolution in striking, I want to see some more evolution in grappling. I already knew his grappling was pretty solid, but I want to see more of that. Obviously not against Irani Yaya. You go with Irani Yaya, please just box him. Don't really try to throw no kicks. Just use hands, box him up, sprawl heavy on him. Maybe he initiates guard, lands up hand fist, disengage. Don't play no ground game with some guy like Ronnie Yaya. But with guys that either basic strikers or maybe wrestle or something, maybe wrestlers, because some wrestlers will just gonna put you on your back. But I don't know. But run more so strikers, mixed martial artist guys that's not really strong in any area. Definitely mix it up more, and that's what's back row Dana. Guy that's decent in the striking, nothing phenomenal, nothing really write home about, nothing to tell your mom about, and really not the best grappling. Could seen that mix him up more, and Mad made a bigger statement, much bigger statement in that fight than he did, and not just me being critical. And then the next fight we have Brendan Allen versus Jacob Malcone, and in this fight, like I said, this fight could have went the other way, but hey, I got it right, perfect this pick because Brendan Allen won by decision. And but in reality, on paper, a perfect prediction. But in actuality, I feel like Jacob Malcone won the fight. I feel like his wrestling was a big factor in his pace. And Brendan Allen couldn't really keep up or really neutralize his wrestling or really address it too much. I feel like he had some moments where he addressed, like in the first round, towards the end of the first round, a little bit in the third. But I feel like most of the fight was Jacob Malcone's. But it is what it is. And with this one, predicting wise, I was thinking Brendan Allen, his track record of losses came more so to striker. People that can keep on the feet and touch him up, like Chris Curtis, Eric Anders, Anthony Hernandez. Most of his losses were in similar fashion like that. It was not like he got taken down, tapped out, or he got wrestled and ground to decision. So I didn't see him fight a guy like Jacob Malcone. So I trusted Brendan Allen's experience, and I trusted the fact that he does pretty well against grapplers historically. Obviously, I feel like he lost this fight, but going in, that's all. I didn't really have much to judge from based off never really seeing him in this fight, but now we see. But I don't really think there's that many people in this division like that. Maybe you could say, oh, Marvin Vittori's, or I don't know, Marvin Vittori probably the only guy right now that maybe you could say might be along those lines. Or maybe Phil Halls. But Phil Halls don't really got the cardio, but who knows? Phil Halls beat Jacob Malcone, but he knocked him out. But I mean, yeah, style makes fight, so we'll see. And also, Phil Halls does got some power, so potentially keep the fight on the feet, touch Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen looked pretty good on the feet, showing improvements, but still showing some similar flaws, keeping those hands pretty low. Trading in the pocket with hands low, chin up a little bit. Some of the same flaws. So he could definitely get knocked out by Phil Halls. But yeah. Or maybe wrestled to a decision by Phil Halls. Who knows? But things to look into or kind of analyze a little bit more. But definitely, I think he did well for the first time I see him against that style. But I don't think he won. But maybe he'll take it as a lesson with a win and work on some things. But hey, it is what it is. Next fight, we have Mahashate versus Steve Garcia, and this is a fight that I said was similar to Na Liang versus Silvana Gomez-Juarez. You had a fight that was definitely more well-rounded than Steve Garcia versus Mahashate, but a guy who is more well-rounded fought sloppily. Like, was going for, even though he got rocked, he still got a takedown pretty much against Mahashate, but didn't really establish the control there. And then even getting dropped, he still did the same exact flaw he did, like throwing punches, then just like reaching with punches, in the stand, don't punch it, and then have your hand constantly back out there, not bringing it back to your chin, not like slipping or nothing. You just are stepping off, like you just throwing shots, and it's like looking like throw a punch, look, and what's name to say, you're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna take it. That's what happened. Yeah, I guess you could say a similar thing to Na Liang, throwing a punch, looking. They say, you want to sit there, you want to look at me, I'm gonna give you something back. Like, I guess you want it, you waiting like I'm about to serve you some dinner or something. You all set a plate with a fork and a spoon in your hand, a fork and a knife in your hand. So dinner served, you right there just looking, taking a picture or whatever they call it. I know people usually take pictures when they're actually doing something, but they taking pictures doing nothing. Like they throwing a punch, sticking out there, like sticking their hand out, like they want some food. They get fed up like a counter strike right down the dome, right down the pipe on their dome or their chin, or straight down the pipe on the button. But yeah, was reaching too much. I guess the thing I could say it here, because he did get rocked in his last fight. He did look sloppy on the feet in his last fight. But I thought it would be a case where he could get him to the ground, which he did really in the first, but Mahashati was able to, get back to his feet. And then Steve Garcia was the one, he's more experienced, older, and more well-rounded. He didn't learn his lesson. He got dropped, but he got right back up, did the same thing. But the second time he got caught, he went out. So having been more rounded doesn't help if you're sloppy. But again, this is one of these fights where Mahashati, we don't really know too much about him. We still haven't really seen his ground game, to be honest. I mean, still haven't seen his ground game. So we don't know if a more competent grappler, more competent fighter can, test him there or, take advantage of him there. But So after this fight, we still don't really know. I feel like the fight would have played out maybe a round or two. I would have got more intel from him, but all I can get from that is that Steve Garcia still looked like the more well-rounded fighter, but was sloppy and showed big holes in his striking and at fight IQ. But who knows? You get your brain rattled, maybe you get up. But I don't know. He got dropped in the last fight too, so it definitely got a factor on his fight IQ a lot because you got dropped in your last fight. You didn't make no improvements. And you came out your second fight just doing the same thing. Probably expecting to get dropped, get a takedown, and maybe ground and pound or submit him. But yeah, get dropped and get up and immediately do the same exact thing. Was pretty much dumb on his part. But I'm definitely picking Steve Garcia in the next fight. Machete, I still don't know. Put him with a more seasoned veteran or smarter fighters in general that has some decent grappling and decent enough striking and striking defense. I'll probably pick against Machete. But going with a sloppy fighter, would it be a striking, grappling, just a well-rounded fighter that's sloppy? Probably pick a Machete. Guy looking pretty crisp on the feet. I would give him that. He's impressive. But it's a mixed martial arts, and I really want to see his full skill set because I can't really get behind somebody where I don't know their full skill set or how they'll deal with a fight that's going to look to mix it up with them and be to do that to a decent degree. So I still haven't seen it. So like that's still like good win for him, but not necessarily showing me nothing. Well, he did show power because his fight on Contender Series fight, he showed some decent power, but more so with like it was on there. But this fight, he showed much more power, much more composure, better recovery, and all that stuff. But still only really show striking. Obviously show that he at least does some grappling because he didn't get taken down and look like a fish out of water. He looked decent enough to defend the takedown, work back to his feet, but it was like so short. And plus his opponent was rocking and got a takedown, so that's also a knock against him. But hey, it is what it is. It's not like Garcia's the best wrestler either. I just thought, like, again, another case, good enough to get it done. It wasn't a case like, oh, Garcia is so phenomenal. It was like good enough to get it done versus a guy who's on 22 years old, still a greenhorn, green nose, whatever you can call a little baby, Gerber baby. And skills ain't all around. It's not like coming from a region that's so solid yet. A region that's still very much budding. And a lot of untapped potential in that region right now. And it shows just in general and in the fighters themselves. Like a lot of untapped potential. Like some of them like elevating, you see like at a higher level, they're starting to get better. But overall, it's not really the best region right now. And that's clear, and they will even admit it themselves. And yeah, next fight we had Josh Kulibao versus Sungwoo Choi. In this one, I would lean Choi's power, lean experience, and all his striking shouldn't be able to hold up. I feel like in this one, Kulibao was just looser, smoother, and mixed his stance up pretty well. And yeah, I can't really say it was like so much to really dig off of this one. I did think Kulibao would be more creative, would be less predictable, but he looked a lot faster, looked a lot sharper. Best performance by him, so definitely showed some improvements in there. And I feel like Sungwoo Choi, I feel like if he would have approached the fight like he approached the third round, potentially could have had more success. Potentially could have made the fight closer or won the fight. Like you see a guy mixing stances up, got little skinny legs, attack those legs a little bit more, use your kicks a little more, maybe throw some kicks up high, throw some kicks to the body. Matter of fact, probably I feel like the body was open a good number of times and he didn't go for it. Like he had like Kulibao was already respecting his power, so his hands are already kind of high. Those rib cages were wide exposed, but again, I ain't no person trying to act like I'm some expert at this and that, or like some expert fighter, or I'm just a predictor. That's all. At this given moment, that's all I am. So, but I feel like the body was open. Could have slammed some kicks to the body, maybe. Definitely, the leg kicks were having effect in that third round. And he was able to get a takedown, get some control in that third round, work for some position in that third round. Maybe that was an early approach. He would have did that. I thought his experience, I thought his power, I thought his size would be factors, but ultimately, Kulibao was just more diverse on the feet. Switching stances faster, sharper, less predictable, and that won him the fight. And I feel like more so, it's not something I could predict it, but given from actually watch fight, Sungwoo Choi's could have used his experience factor and also just used what he did in the third round. That would have been the initial approach. Again, could have changed something up. But that one, yeah, I can't really say. With these fighters, I'm still learning. Well, more so with Kulibao. Sungwoo Choi, I kind of seen enough from him to know good about him. Kulibao, really only was seen fight like 3 times. Each performance kind of a little bit different. The last fight he fought like a wrestler, so can't really say I could judge too much about him now. But now, as him in a striking matchup for the most part, I definitely got a better read on him. But we'll see going forward. I think Sungwoo Choi showed similar flaws in the Caceres fight, where looking predictable. I mean, he was hurting Caceres early. Well, he hurt Caceres early, but that predictability still kind of showed in there. Like look for the same shots, telegraphing punches, telegraphing your strikes. And Kulibao just took advantage of, like, already seeing where you're going and just set him counters and it's beat him to the punch. But yeah. Next fight we had Jack Della Maddalena versus Ramazan Emeev. Picked Maddalena. Maddalena won. I expected it to happen in the third round, but pretty much everything I expected kind of happened in the first round. I didn't expect that submission, but I expected Emeev to probably try to wall and stall him a lot more in that first round. But he came out kind of striking pretty decently. Emeev did. Kind of decent. Still ain't all that press, but better than what he had shown for the last couple years. And had a decent submission tempo there. I didn't expect that because Emeev not a finisher, but he had a deep choke in there. Or maybe that's just a Della Maddalena pattern recently. Get put in a deep submission, escape, and then win the fight. So maybe that's more a Della Maddalena pattern than a Emeev fight. Even Emeev, who's not a finisher, somehow ended up in a position where he was close to finishing Della Maddalena in a submission. But yeah, kind of something to look for, because going in there with a guy that actually taps people out at this level and not just in the gym, he might get tapped out. Della Maddalena might, because the people that were putting in those bitches aren't exactly people that submit people or have a track record submitting people. So imagine getting put in that same position or giving yourself in that position against somebody that's a submission, big major submission threat. Could be a problem, or even a decent submission threat. That could be a problem. But anyway, I was expecting Jack Maddalena to kind of just have to peel off Emeev early, kind of fight against in the cage, some hand fighting, some clinch, some clinch fighting, trying to fight for hooks and underhooks and overhooks instead of trying to, that battle against the cage. But when he gets those low instances, probably trying to land some knees, land some punches in the clinch, disengage, walk Emeev down, land combinations. It's really wear on him. And later on, stop him in the third, but it was actually a first round stoppage. Good, pretty back and forth fight. Emeev got a deep submission in there, and then Della Maddalena, fought it properly, stayed calm, stayed composed, got out. I think when he got out, Emeev was just demoralized. Like, damn, this guy's still coming forward. And then especially already demoralized after that, then that body shot he snuck that body shot in on him, and Emeev was like, I'm done. And Besley could probably get that wind knocked on him as well. So I feel like after getting out of the submission, Maddalena did, Emeev was already, demoralized a bit. Probably need a little bit of time to snap back into the fight. When you feel like you got a good position or a good submission and got a good pace to fight, then when it doesn't materialize, that kind of gets any sport. It gives you a little bit of a second where you demoralized. You got to get your wherewithal back. And in that time, we're trying to get his wherewithal back. Della Maddalena put it on him and got him out in the first round. But impressive win for Della Maddalena regardless. Yeah, so next fight, we had Jake Matthews versus Andre Fiallo. And this is what the fourth and final loss I had on this fight. Jake Matthews versus Andre Fiallo. And this one, I don't know. Some people would be watching it first. Some people got some extra tape. Some people probably know Jake Matthews further, or somebody just, from the gist of what I was saying, people picking Matthews was because, he's more experienced. He's a UFC veteran and this and that. And Andre Fiallo has not really fought anybody. But I think most of the people were expecting Jake Matthews kind of just really just outlast him, take him down and submit him or something, or take him down and control him. But they weren't really predicting that outcome. No one really was predicting that outcome. Well, I don't know, maybe some people were. From the gist of it, they were saying more experience, a UFC caliber guy, and blah, blah, blah. They were saying that. I wasn't really getting into just that. Jake Matthews was just solid striker. And from what I've seen from Jake Matthews, I kind of look back at the Tony Martin fight, which is probably a good number of years now. But that's really, as far as full-out striking, well, you can maybe say Diego Sanchez fight a bit as well, but that really don't count. Because Diego Sanchez has never been a great striker, so that don't really mean nothing. He had another fight against a grappler that was a striking match, but that really don't mean much or anything. The Tony Martin fight was swinging like a wild schoolyard kid. The Ji Liang fight swinging like a wild schoolyard kid, but Ji Liang was just has poor striking defense, especially early, letting everybody tag him up early, especially at that period of time. He was letting everybody tag him early. Bobby Nash was rocking and dropping. Some other people were rocking and dropping. He's getting rocked and dropped every single fight, but then coming on and stopping people late. I think what Davis Wilder dropped him or hurt him too early. So that was just that era of Ji Liang. I'm probably still really a Ji Liang thing where he gets hurt early. And then, matter of fact, he don't get hurt early. You only see the best Ji Liang, but I don't know. At that given time, was letting everybody just hurt him early, then he would come back. But in that fight, he didn't come back. And he did also eye gouge as well. But another story for another day. But anyway, I had not really seen Jake Matthews as such a great striker. Then in the Sean Brady fight, wasn't a whole lot of striking. He looked much improved opposed to what I've seen. But then again, Sean Brady's not striking. So it was nothing really I could say, I've seen a good sustained bit of striking. And even with you extended those fighting striking exchanges, I still don't think he will look as good as he looked today or looked on Saturday. I don't think it will look as good as he looks Saturday. I feel like Saturday, leading up to the fight, like I said, he was looking back at his old tape. He really was focused, looking to like take advantage of this moment. The hype he saw behind Paulo Fiallo. I said Paulo Fiallo. Andre Fiallo. I said it again, but I ain't adding that. Andre Fiallo. Like he was looking at the hype he saw behind Andre Fiallo, and he's like, I'm gonna kill this guy. So he went out there. I feel like he trained, like looked back at himself, saw his flaws, probably studied some other great fighters, and he looked the best he has ever looked in striking by far, like 10 times whatever I've seen before. Like a complete night and day, complete 180 to me, to be honest. Because I can't act like, oh, he's always been a clean striker. Man, been sloppy. A whole 99% of his career has been sloppy. I know his chin was durable. People say, oh, Kevin Lee stopped him, but Kevin Lee stopped him on the ground. He never been really dropped and finished. I think he might have been dropped once, but the guy has a sturdy, big Justin Bieber chin out there. So the man's chin is pretty solid. So that was thinking along the lines he could take his damage to maybe outlast him, maybe get some takedowns on Fiallo or something, and maybe that'd be his path to victory. But we did on feed the show, like the man has really been, put in the time with his striking and has shown leaps in the bounds. I think also probably did some mental work or whatever he's been doing, whatever Zen mode he got, and that was by far the best Jake Matthews. And he went from like a a non-factor in the division that maybe he can be a factor in the division, but maybe getting a little ahead of myself. But the guy's still young and not even 30 yet, and now fully getting locked and geared, striking clean and crisp. Not gonna say he's one of the best strikers in the division just yet. I mean, that's definitely a big jump, but he's definitely on the radar now. Especially if he looks that good and better going forward, Sky could very much be the limit. Also, got to see some leaps improvements in his grappling as well. But yeah, striking wise, but also again with the thing, I see Jack Matthews is such a great striker, but clearly today he showed something different, or Saturday he showed something different. Grappling wise, he had never been so aggressive in most fights except with against that fake Viking, what's his name? Emil Meek, who got 20% takedown defense ratio. I mean, Usman obviously gonna mess up your ratio, but the other people should not have done him the way he done. But either way, Emil Meek, even given a strategy guide, a cheat sheet, the man can't defend a takedown. So I can't say that was the best example of aggressive grappling approach. And it's not like Andre Fiallo has shown a track record of consistently having poor takedown defense. I think it was one fight where he has shown questionable takedown defense, questionable grappling, but still was solid enough, still way better than Emil Meek. And other than that, his fights takedown defense look pretty solid. But again, an aggressive approach, maybe a wear down effect, and then get those takedowns could have happened, but I did not see that coming. But clearly, Jake Matthews showed me and just about everybody else the best performance he has ever had in his career by far, bar none. Best fight he has ever had. Yeah, then next fight we had Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Got a decision for Weili, but Weili came out and was not playing, and she got that stoppage. Like she was taking her down and dominating her on the ground early. Second round striking with her, showing improvements. Then taking advantage of some holes in some patterns and tendencies in Joanna's game. Like probably doing those combinations with her hands down, like not bringing her hands back to her chin. Saw her about to load up. About to let the combination go. Turn mid combination, quarter with spinning back fist, beautiful knockout, and a beautiful send off to Joanna. Not the send off she wants, but a highlight reel that's probably gonna be played a lot in MMA history, probably to the day, for years and years to come and 100 years later. But not as great as the first fight as far as for both women or as a fight of the night type thing, but it was a great fight while it lasted, and a great performance by Zhang Weili. Complete performance from her, striking, grappling, and good reads out there, and was able to put her away. So solid performance for Zhang Weili. Correct pick. Method not always exactly there, but yeah, good. I did expect her to do the wrestling more, what she did in that fight. I did expect to do more of that. Did not expect that in the back fist. Expected a decision, but yeah. Next fight we had, also with her future champion looks like, and still could go, she got 0-2 versus Rose Namajunas, but I can see her getting the belt back, then potentially Rose getting a title shot, and I can see Weili Zhang with what she showed tonight or showed Saturday, getting a win over Rose. And the second fight was pretty close. So now that she's wrestling more, and now it's not just her first time really focusing heavy on that and then trying to use that in a title fight, but now the fact that she used it, that was like 2 fights now, like 2 fights, 2 camps, and you're already seeing improvements, and it's becoming more natural to her, and she's able to do it more effortlessly. I could definitely see her beating Rose in the third fight or dominating her, but not even needing Rose, to be honest. Because Rose is all here and there, so I can see Weili Zhang just going out there, winning the belt back over Carla Esparza, and then going on to be possibly the greatest strawweight of all time, like by going a long title run potentially. But who knows? This division is always giving you surprises. And then to our next fight, we had in the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko versus Talia Santos. I knew Talia Santos had all the intangibles, but lacked experience and needs some more fine-tuning. But even without giving all those facts, she still put up a good fight, was out grappling Valentina Shevchenko. Shevchenko was making some amateurish mistakes by, well, not even amateurish, but maybe poor, questionable decisions out there by grappling with Talia Santos at times or initiating grappling. But all that being said, yeah, it was a good fight for Talia Santos. Valentina was able to kind of pull away at the end, but definitely could have lost the first three. But yeah, things to make adjustments on for both. And I say Talia Santos, I could definitely see her a champion in 2 years. I feel like she had all the skills, just needed some more time, needed some more improvement. I could definitely see her in 2 years. Now I really could see her being a champion as soon as a year. I don't think she'll get a title fight obviously this year, about like halfway over. So maybe in early next year get a title shot, maybe win that rematch, maybe. But I feel like her best bet is take it slow, give it like 2 years, come back. Joanna's gonna be Weili Zhang. Valentina's gonna be a little bit older, a little bit further in 30s, and Talia Santos gonna be, I think, just hitting her 30s or like early 30s, right in her prime. And yeah, definitely be a fight I will lean to her. She makes improvements, sharper, more striking. Definitely be a lot more confident given how the fight went, and still, giving a competitive effort even with one eye. But yeah, good performance. Yeah, great performance from both women. Questionable decision a little bit, but I don't think it was necessarily the worst decision, to be honest. I feel like it was a decent enough decision, but could have went the other way. But I don't feel like a robbery in that sense. But definitely the headbutt and the eye swelling, this unfortunate outcome that maybe if she didn't have that happen, could have like kept the momentum of the fight and would have won. It made it clearer, but it did have effect. I mean, it is what it is, and Valentina did come on in later rounds enough to get some clear enough rounds, and it was like at least probably one questionable round in the first three. And Valentina did what she needed to do, won the championship rounds, and got her hand raised, close but not controversial. Then into our main event, I already said which one, Jerry Prochazka or Glover Teixeira versus Prochazka. Like smart, this looks sticking at skill set, I would lean Glover, but Jerry Prochazka just a wild dude in general. I have been picking against him literally every single time. First two picks I picked against him, was first two fights picked against him. This fight I was about to pick against him, but it was like this guy like 29, only getting better. He had not really shown a pattern of getting a guy that, oh my God, guy can't defend takedowns. Oh my God, this guy has zero grappling. This guy, every single fight gets taken down late on, and like his issues. Or he didn't have shown a clear pattern. Like obviously he showed flaws in those areas, but he had not shown a clear pattern of that being the way to beat him or the way he lost. And he was 30 seconds from losing, so could have started something. I mean, someone else could see something, but is it right now still not a proven path to beating him all the way through? It's not. And he was able to get submission over the submission grappler and Glover. But I think the age definitely played a factor. I think that retirement talk definitely played a factor, because I thought maybe Glover Teixeira was maybe just a little bit too lax, or maybe a little bit too, maybe a little bit complacent. And I think in that little back and forth fight, 30 seconds left, I think he lost a little bit of track of things and was too caught up in the pace. And Jerry Prochazka was able to capitalize the opportunity when Glover was not mentally there. I also might be thinking a little bit high fight IQ moment right there for him, Jerry Prochazka. Every time a grappler loses position, there's that little split instance or even a little extended instance where they probably taking that deep breath and like, man, I lost position again, or I lost position, and now I'm either gonna have to try to get another takedown, or I'm gonna have to do some more work. I can't just sit on top of him and land punches or control the position. I gotta get that back. And they taking that little deep breath, and probably in that exact moment, you saw Glover Teixeira with his back turned, neck exposed, sun choking, and at that point, Glover already in a hard fought fight. It's not a matter of how skilled you are. You tired, you're exhausted, you take a deep breath, and you're mentally not there, choking there, deep. And you aren't probably. It's not the Amanda Nunes fight. Amanda Nunes just quit. But Glover Teixeira had the hard 5-round fight, 30 seconds left. Just mentally took a lapse, not a quit moment. Just the air wasn't there. Where you take a deep breath, or with just hard fought battle. I think it was a combination. Opportunity took, got that choking deep, and Glover probably didn't have the wind in him to really, or he didn't really prepare himself for it, or and also was not expecting it, or was not respecting it. So combination, Prochazka got a submission, but back and forth fight. I kind of expected something wild and unorthodox, given how Jerry Prochazka is, but again, did not expect that outcome. Glover looked good, but I think Glover should retire. He should definitely retire, because you fighting a young 29-year-old like that again, who probably be 30, 31 next time you fight him, and even better, and even more confident, and you're gonna be older. he just probably gonna stop you more definitively. Might be another exciting fight. Jerry Prochazka still leaves a lot of openings and stuff. It's gonna make it exciting, but probably gonna be an even more definitive stop. Probably via TKO next time they fight. Probably, in all likelihood, and definitely, yeah, the next time they fight. So it really ain't much for him left to do. And I mean, maybe fight just to give another try. But he already did what he needed to do. I feel like he should have retired after getting the belt instead of trying to get more two defenses. Well, nothing wrong with trying to see as far as you could go and accomplish as much as you can accomplish. Because always going to be a case that I, given my all, that I try to do as much as I can. And he did, like he did. But at this point, it's even more unlikely he's going to get his hand on the belt again. And at this point, either he's just fighting for money or fighting for the love of the game at this point. Because I feel like he was 30 seconds from defending the belt, but now that 30 seconds, or that he was so close to defending the belt, now he's so far from ever getting the belt again, and completely far from defending, because you can't get it, you can't defend it. But yeah, and they got a lot of young contenders coming up, and he's only getting older. I feel like he could definitely upset a couple of them, but as far as after getting the belt back, the odds even further now, even further, especially age against them. And, you know, these fighters are gonna probably go to points where they're trying to negotiate contracts, and you try to wait on the sideline, or maybe he has another fight against another guy, and then that fight happens. They have a whole training camp, and then he gets injured or something happens. Then you just wait on the sideline. This is something that's not really mapped out for an older fighter to be waiting on the sideline. Like, that was his best bet, maybe, I don't know, to win the fight. That's his best bet. But now losing it, yeah. But good fight, was so close. But I think he should call it. He should call it a career. He should call it a career. No disrespect at all, saying he's a great fighter, but it's like the odds are severely against him. It's like really nothing else for him to do. I mean, winning the belt would definitely add to his legacy, but I don't see that happening. Fighting other guys ain't gonna do much for his legacy, and most likely gonna cause him to lose a couple of losses. Probably go on a streak of losses, just trying to stick around. Probably lose some of the younger guys. Maybe probably losing some of the younger guys, unless they match him friendly up against some guys that he potentially could beat. Like maybe a Paul Craig, maybe Jamal Hill currently with the grappling issues he has, or maybe he could be a measuring stick for Jamal Hill to see if his grappling has made some improvements, wrestling defense, jiu-jitsu defense has made some improvements. Like I said, Paul Craig, I feel like he can outstrike Paul Craig, out-grapple Paul Craig. I feel like he can take advantage of Jamal Hill's grappling. And yeah, so it's like, you know, some people that he potentially be maybe fighting with like Shogun, an older fighter like that or something, but Shogun maybe rematch him with OSP, I don't know, but kind of throw him around there, maybe give him a Johnny Walker or something. But either way, at this point, he really gonna be a measuring stick. They might try to give him a title fight, just again, a media title fight, just for how exciting the fight was. But all it's gonna do is cause them take more damage they don't need to take. It's not gonna be a case he's gonna go back and run it back and get a win. This just gave Prochazka even more confidence. Glover got some confidence, but he just getting older, and it's just like history and age and mother time, father time is against them. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Good card, great card. 7-4, 7-11, solid card. Given how wild it was, and even without it being wild, still a solid card. But especially given that it was wild, a very solid card, and I'm happy with the outcome. But always looking to be better. And with a lot of young fighters on this card, and a lot of these people you don't really got intel on, got a bit of decent intel here and there, in wins and losses, and that will only help me going forward. But that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.